It's one of those games that you walk away from, and going into this week, I was concerned that this might be a high-scoring affair, that generally people watching college football told our offense at the beginning of the week we have to score. We need to score almost on every possession. And they almost did, actually. I thought we ran the ball again for the second week very nicely. Benjamin, obviously, he was in here. He broke all kind of records. A lot of that's contributed to our offensive line, his ability to break tackles and just staying with it. I thought defensively, I thought the flea flicker after that play, we hit a lull there. We lost a little bit of our confidence. And they took advantage of that. They scored on us numerous plays, run plays where we didn't fit up right. Ball got outside of us. We made some big runs. But then I thought the fourth quarter, when we needed to make some stops, we did. And that was a good sign to get our confidence back. So it was a game that we relied on a running game. And it came through force. You can't say enough when you can run the football. Toward the end there, with 6 minutes left, it was all really about letting the clock go down and just hiking it within 5 seconds and trying to make first downs to make sure that they couldn't get the ball and try to score again. And our offense did a nice job of that.
Coach, you mentioned that the defense kind of hit a lull, a little bit of fatigue there.
I don't know if it was fatigue. It was more emotional. It was, it bothers me.
What more can be done to avoid those mid-in-game stuff?
We got to grow up. That's when a big play happens, you got to let it go. You can't let it affect you. Football's about momentum, and you can't let one play become a bad series of plays. And then that's what it became. And then all of a sudden you got a bad quarter going, and now, they have life because they got some life on that. You felt like the energy switched. And then I thought in the second half we came back out and did some things pretty good, and we got going again. And that's what I talked about at halftime. I said, hey, look, now, they've got some energy again. We got to make sure we don't allow them to get into this game. And lo and behold, the offense did a nice job. And the defense made a couple stops. We missed some critical tackles again, and you can't do that. We had the quarterback a couple times and let him out. Just flat let him out. Missed some tackles, and some guys not in the right gaps. And when you play one-gap scheme, when you're stunting your lineman, if you're out of the wrong gap, there's going to be a hole there, and if the runner hits it, he's going to hit his head on the goalpost until somebody tackles him. And that's just the way it is. That's football. So we got to clean that up.
Coach, just the one penalty tonight, the delay game at the end, that had to have been huge for you guys tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that, fouls, the foolish fouls, and we kept our poise for the most part. And as you mentioned, the delay of the game was the one. And I think when you can run the ball like that, you're always going to be in the game, and you control the game for the most part when you can run the football. And that opens the passing lanes for you. Manny was a little bit under the weather. I tip my hat to him. He had to get an IV at halftime, and he came back out, and I asked him, you okay? Yeah, he said, Coach, I'm going. And so he did a nice job.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
So you mentioned that the defensive, issues were more emotional than you say fatigue. Can you elaborate on why that?
Yeah, it's maturity. It's you have to have selected memory when bad things happen. I know that. I played on the corner for 10 years. And when a guy beats you, you select the memory, okay? It didn't happen. I'm going to keep playing. You can't allow it to become a series of plays. And that's what happened to us. And we've got to correct that. We've got to be more mentally tough than that if you're going to battle for the conference, and we got to figure that out. You just got to be a mentally tough guy. You can't let one play all of a sudden disrupt your thinking. And then what happens generally when you let one play get away, then guys start guessing and they want to make a play, and then another bad play happens, and another bad play happens, and all of a sudden it's a touchdown, and you're looking at each other going, well, it was more of us than them. And so that's the concern, and we gotta get mentally tough. We can't fall into that trap.
Herm, back here.
Yes, sir.
How rare is Eno's ability to make people miss?
Well, good running backs have that instinct, and that's what he has. He's a very instinctive runner. And remember, he didn't play a lot last year. So he sat. My concern with him was a guy that hasn't played a lot, can he carry it that many times, 30 times? Can he do that 3 weeks in a row? I don't know. I don't know that because I haven't. It's the first time I've been around. First time I've watched him play. He can. He reminds me a little bit of Curtis Martin, about the same stature. Doesn't look big, doesn't look like he can break tackles, but he does, and he can run inside. That's what I like about him. He runs inside for the tough yards. He finds a way to wiggle and stretch and get his way in position, and has enough burst to get outside, and has pretty good hands, can catch the ball fairly well. So he is a good running back, knows the protections well when he has to protect. He can do everything a good back needs to do.
Can you, you sort of understand the perspective of no one ever having had a 300-yard rushing game here in the history of the school. Woody Green, the Malones, people
people I played against.
Yeah, can you put that in perspective of what he
Well, first of all, you got to have the carries to do it, and you have to be willing to run the football, and we're willing to run the football. Now, to say that, he's got to make yards, and he did. He made a bunch of explosive plays tonight. I mean, he was fantastic. It was fun to watch him go. And, when you run the ball like that, your offensive line gets excited. Everybody gets excited. It's something about running the ball. When you run the ball, it's football is about knocking a person off their spot. And when you knock them off the spot and say, I'm going to run it right there and you're not going to stop me, and you do it for 314 yards, it's a pretty good night. Yeah. Let's run the football.
Coach, to piggyback off that, too, you're saying the offensive line, but defense, you're saying mental toughness, but every series offensive line is coming off the ball when you score. Could you just see their confidence and they're just saying, let's just keep running the ball?
Yeah, and we talked about it. We talked about it last week, actually becoming more of a dominant run team because we need to do that. I think, in the long haul, when you can run it, your offense will be even more explosive. And you have a way of wearing people down. I like running the ball because you control the clock. And in college football, the way I look at it, you better control the clock, because these people spread you out and they can score very fast. And so when you can run the ball, you basically, every time you make a first down, you're taking 3 minutes off that clock. And that thing is just getting away. And once you get a lead, you play the clock. Once we got into the middle of the third quarter, it was all about the clock for me. It was just, we don't hike it fast, we don't need to huddle up, just wait, let it run down, make another first down, and watch 3 minutes come off the clock. And so you're playing, that's what you're playing the clock. You're not playing the opponent anymore so much. And then your defense gets the rest. And the key is if they can go out there and get a stop, they got to punt it back to you, and then your team takes another 6 minutes off the clock. So you put the pressure on them because they're looking at the clock if you're the other coach, and you're going, you know what? I'm not going to possess this thing but about 3 more times, and I'm down 4 scores. What am I going to do? Well, you know what you're going to do. You have to throw it. Well, then that makes the defense better. Now we can tee off and bring some people at the quarterback and hit him and knock him down and maybe get a turnover or two. But that's how you try to play the game. That's how you try to orchestrate it. And, that's just my thinking. And I've always thought that way as a coach.
Coach, this is 2 weeks in a row in conference play that you've been a very run-heavy offense. How crucial is it for you to establish the run when you have a weapon like Nikhil out on the outside that you can open it up for him even more?
Well, we can, but I think you watched Nikhil tonight. We found ways to get him the ball. Did he ever run a touchdown? Did you like that? Yeah, it's okay. He ran a touchdown, right? He had 2 touchdowns tonight, right? I don't know. He scored 2 touchdowns every game. That's pretty good last time I checked, right? So, his stats are better than they were last year already. Just on touchdowns alone. He only had 6 or something like that last year, 6 or 7 touchdowns. So we're going to get him the ball. And it's like anything else. What you don't realize sometimes when you watch the game, people roll the coverage to Nikhil. He's not always one-on-one. It's easy to say, well, throw it to him. Well, yeah, there's 2 guys on it. So let's throw it to somebody else. And Nikhil's good enough to understand that, and that's why we try to move him around. We put him in the slot. We put him outside. We put him as a third guy. We put him in the backfield. He ran the ball tonight. He wants me to give him a pass next week, but we're going to get him the ball. We'll get him the ball, but we have other players that can get the ball as well. Some guys made some big plays tonight. So we have an offense. That's our offense. That's kind of what I've been waiting to see. I saw it the first game, and then we played some pretty good defenses, and you didn't see it. And then tonight, that was our offense. If we can keep doing that, you keep scoring 52 points, you're going to win a lot of games. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but you should win if you score 52 points, I would hope.
Coach, there were plenty of things you did well tonight. looking for an area of concern, just looking for something, right? It looked like there were some issues on third down. Does that speak to maturity there?
Yeah, it just speaks to, guys not in position, and it's a shame because we go over it. We knew how they're going to attack us, and we're just not in position to make the plays. And that's what football boils down to, being in position to make the play. I mean, when you got to make a stop or against the run or the pass, and third down, you got to get off the field. We here again, similar to last week, we had them in some third and long situations, and we had them backed up, and they got out. And so that's a little bit of youth, no doubt, a little bit of youth, but we have to better ourselves that way.
How important was it to get a big comeback in this game, especially considering you guys are going into Colorado next week and all the road troubles that you've had?
Yeah, you make a great point. I mentioned that. We haven't been very good on the road, and that's something that we have to solve, along with Pac-12 wins. We've averaged 4 in the last 3 years. It's not good enough. We've got to win more games in the Pac-12 if you're going to compete for a championship or try to win the conference in the South. So I think this was a good win for us. Now we got to go play a good opponent in Colorado. They're playing well. They really are. I watched them. And they got a good football team. Coach does a good job up there. So it'll be a test for us.
Coach, going back on the road, what does the team need to do to stay focused going to Colorado?
Well, I don't think stay focused so much. It's win. Just go win a game on the road. Then you feel better. It's kind of like, hey, man, you win one, you go, okay, we won on the road. I used to love going on the road. I don't get it. I just think you go on the road, it's fun because it's just you and the team. We have some fans. We got great fans that travel, and they'll go to Colorado, and they was in San Diego, and, they went to Washington. I used to love going on the road. The road is good. Fantastic going on the road. I said, let's go on the road. And it's nothing like if you went on the road and you hear the fans leaving in the fourth quarter. It's quiet. That's what's fun about the road. And if you got to have a mentality, and we got to build that here of how to play on the road. That's important.
It's 2 parts. So my one question too on the side is can you explain your patch on the Coach Secure MD?
Ooh, you need to ask the. You know anything about this?
It's nationwide.
Nationwide. I think all the coaches are wearing it. I know that the other staff is wearing it as well. I just put the shirt on. I didn't put the patch on there. And it's not an iron-on either. They sold it on there. I just said, whoa, this new patch. I don't know. Just wear patches.
Back to a football question. So, Coach, what has been the issue with clicking, especially on the road for this team?
I've only been 2 road games, and we've lost them. We're kind of an odd group here. So our first game, we won by a wide margin. In the second game, it was a 1-score game. The third game, 1-score game. Fourth game, 1-score game. This one, more than 1 score. Don't know. If I could figure that out, I'd figure it out. Got to just play better. I mean, we've been in 3 1-score games, and we've won 1. And we had an opportunity to maybe tie the other 2 up if I would have decided to kick it rather than go for 2, but you won't know until we get in one of those and find out what I'm going to do. I got a feeling you guys know what I'm going to do. Those are the games we lost, and it's just against some good teams. I mean, against 2 good teams, we lose 1-score game. And you go back at it and you look at some of the plays that we didn't make. That's the difference for us right now. I mean, that's my summation of it, what I look at. Okay, thank you.